Maybe we should do this one live this time.
You ready for another bout?
Boy, you getting sleepy.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to The Side Scheme, a podcast about everybody's favorite superhero card game. Superhero card game, that's it. Marvel Champions. I'm your host, Banana Crapshoot, and joining me tonight, back from his interdimensional travels through the multiverse, Tommy of Titan. Tommy, how are you?
I am well. Man, I'll tell you what, that Dormammu was a real asshole.
Took you a while to get back.
Yeah, he had me in some weird time loop bullshit he learned from, I don't know, some sorcerer. I don't know what was going on, but I got stuck there for a while.
Well, man, it's great to have you back. I feel like it's been a while. I need to ask you how the kids are doing.
The kids are good. They're in college now. So.
Okay. I'm pretty sure you started a new job, and one of your kids got married since the last time.
Yeah, I did start a new job. That might be accurate. But yeah, I think my oldest will be 3 on end of the month. So,
well, that's exciting.
Moving along.
My oldest just lost his first tooth, so it's like he's growing for real, and there's no stopping it now. Yeah,
that's scary. I'm not ready for that. That's like driver's license, like the next step.
Almost, yeah. Losing a tooth and then driver's license. Well, I'm pretty excited about our show tonight and to dig into some Marvel Champions and also some Crisis Protocol. And joining us tonight from the House Party Protocol podcast is Will. Will, how are you doing?
I am fantastic and really glad to be here with you guys tonight. I'm excited to talk about Marvel Champions because it's a second love next to MCP for me.
That's cool. Yeah, I know. I'd heard you mention Marvel Champions a couple times on some of your shows, and I kind of thought, like, hey, maybe we could have this guy on and do some weird crossover thing.
Yeah, I think Tommy brought some of that Dark Dimension energy back, and so now that's why we're having a crossover event.
That makes sense.
Yeah, the multiverse is just collapsing. It's madness.
One might say it's madness.
Next time, we'll have to bring in Mr. Ben from the Build Face, which is a Versus System podcast, and then they get real crazy in here.
All the Marvel games just crossing over. I love it.
That's right. And then somebody's got to go find the old tabletop role-playing game, tabletop RPG book from back in the day and just bring that on. Just go real deep in the weeds.
Overpower.
Yes. Oh, my God. How good was that game? I'm sorry.
I just had cards. I don't even remember if I ever played that.
I love that game. I missed that game. Overpower was great.
I'm pretty sure Marvel Champions Monthly just put out like a podcast episode talking about like the X-Men TCG that had like one set after the first movie and Overpower and Versus System. They did like a little mini episode on like the different Marvel games. It's
nice.
Interesting. But why don't you take a second and tell us all about House Party Protocol, what you do, what your deal is, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I am Will from House Party Protocol, and it's a Marvel Crisis Protocol themed show, obviously. And what we do is kind of try to keep it mostly beginner friendly in that if someone's just getting into the game, we treat every episode as much as we can like it's someone's first episode and that they're first picking up the game. So whenever we mention a rule or stuff like that, we try to cover how that works. But we talk about character breakdowns. Like when a new character is revealed, we will take a whole episode to discuss what we expect that character to function like and go through their character card, really break it down and kind of get in the weeds with some character stuff. I know our last episode this past Thursday was on the Crystal and Lockjaw pack that's coming out. And I have a kind of a rotating guest pool, you might say, of people that come on and contribute. And we had our friend Mark come on there, and we were talking about Lockjaw and how he's got a card in his pack called Last Minute Save, and we were talking about some of the crazy interactions of the game that could happen with that. And it was just really great because we mentioned that it was a card that was probably going to get errated, and we came to find out today that it is on the next update of the errata that they do is that card. And so that's kind of our thing, is like we're just kind of breaking down how things are work, seeing if there's ways that we can come up with crazy combos and stuff like that, and just generally being happy about the game and also offering some critical analysis at times. And then we also do kind of an off week episode called The After Party, where we take a look back at characters that have been out for a while. And we started with the core set. We worked our way all the way up. I think we just did Green Goblin and Miles and Gwen. So we're kind of working our way through some of those older releases and basically going back through and saying, where are they now? What are they doing now? And how has the game evolved? Where is this character's place in the game currently? And so far, there haven't been many that we can say absolutely don't have a place, which I think is a testament to the design of Crisis Protocol, personally. So, yeah, I guess that's a really long-winded way to say that we joke around, we have a good time, and we talk about Crisis Protocol as if, we're talking to a bunch of, new people coming in, playing the game, seeing the game for the first time. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I will say that whenever somebody in the Facebook group asks for a podcast like yours and like Fury's Finest are like the two I always recommend. I also like Strike better than some of the other ones, but like yours is always like the first one I recommend. So
thank you, I appreciate that. I will always take that ego stroke. Don't even don't even sweat.
It is a good show. I've recently began listening. I think I've listened to like 4 or 5 episodes so far. I have a lot of commuting at work,
nice.
So I get to digest quite a bit of content. So
cool.
I'm enjoying it.
Good, yeah.
Crossbones has a place. It's weird.
Oh yeah, I know, right? Crossbones, in Marvel Crisis Protocol. I mean, he's a pretty nasty villain in Marvel Champions,
Mm-hmm.
But Crisis Protocol, the cult of Crossbones is real, and there are people that will fight you on the Facebook group if you besmirch Crossbones. Let me tell you.
It's kind of like Hulk in Marvel Champions. If you talk bad about Hulk, people freak out.
You might say they get angry?
They might, yes. All right, well then, I just want to ask you, like, what is your, like, when did you get into Marvel Champions? Like, what do you like about Marvel Champions? Is there anything you don't like about Marvel Champions?
Yeah, I got into Champions, day one, I think. I remember when they revealed it at Gen Con. Gen Con was the reveal, right?
The in-flight report.
Yeah,
it was
that's
the
right.
same one they revealed Crisis Protocol. It was the same.
Exactly. So, yeah, I listened to that or watched that, and I was like, I'm in, because I'm a Marvel nerd. I've been a Marvel nerd since I was a kid. I'm 33 years old, and if there's one love I've had for my entire life, it's Marvel characters, comics, action figures, all that stuff, right? And so anytime that there's something that is well done and accessible to me and other people I can bring to other people, I'm in on that. Like, we all know that there's been plenty of Marvel content that's been put out over the years that's just like, let me slap the Marvel name on it and push it out the door kind of thing. And when Fantasy Flight announced Marvel Champions, I was like, this looks really cool, because like we mentioned at the beginning there, Overpower, like I was really, really into Overpower for a time. And I love that. I love card games. I recently, I guess about a year ago, started playing the Arkham Horror card game. And so I really liked that living card game style. So when they said this was going to be an LCG, first thought was, oh shit, my wallet.
Yep.
The second thought was, yes, at least it's Marvel. So yeah, I was on board right away, and I really love how each hero feels really unique. And I also, probably my favorite aspect, haha, pun intended, is sorry, I do all the puns. You guys know this.
Fits in perfectly.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So, anyways, my favorite aspect of Marvel Champions is just the uniqueness of each character, but also the difficulty level. And I'm one of those people that I approach the game very casually. Like I'm like, let me just put a deck together and see what happens and have some fun, try to get as much damage on these a-holes as possible and win the game. So I really like that accessibility, but I also like that it keeps me coming back for more when I don't win, but I know I'm close to winning, or I know it's like, this is a good combo, I just need to get it at the right time or whatever. You know, I love that. And the thing I probably don't like about it, but it's very... to say I don't like it is probably not right, but it's when you first teach someone this game, the concept of resources not being tied to the card's color and stuff like that, like an energy resource, right? It's the little yellow thing. So every single person I've taught this game to, they're like, oh, well, this is a yellow card, or this number is yellow here, so that means I've got to spend yellow resources. I've got to spend the energy. I'm like, nah, it doesn't work that way. So, like, that's like, it's just a funny thing that happens every single time. Is the understanding that the cards are not only what they do, but they're also resources. But, you know, that just is what it is. It's just a part of the game, and I love this game. I've been playing it, like I said, since day one. I'm not all the way caught up in terms of having played through all the content that's currently available for it, and I'm okay with that. Like, I slow play, and I play like 1 or 2 games a week, and then I take a break for a couple of weeks, and I'll come back and play another few weeks in a row. But right now I'm currently working our way through the Red Skull box with a friend of mine. We're not actually doing the campaign aspect, which I want to do, but we just are kind of playing each villain and then mix and matching heroes for that. Like, I know I texted you, Banana, about the combo of Ant-Man and Wasp versus Taskmaster.
Yeah, it's a bad
and
game.
How it was so brutal, dude. We got wrecked.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, here we are. We're like, oh yeah, this seems like, oh yeah, he's only got like 23 health on his first one. We can probably, I mean, we could do this, right? I mean, Wasp can do some damage, right? Nah, dude, he walked us off the board.
Yeah, really, it's like, hey, do you want to punch yourself in the nuts? Yeah. Do you want to do it harder? Yes. That's
yeah. It's just like repeatedly punching as hard as possible. Yeah, it was terrible. But we've played Taskmaster a few more times now, and finally beat him. So now we're up to Zola. So we'll take on Zola next week. See how it goes.
I got a question for you. When you play, are you like so you mentioned you play with your friend. Do you like to play 1, 2, 3, 4? What different player counts have you played at, and at what counts do you find the game to be the most enjoyable?
I've played at 1, 2, and 3. I've never played a 4-player game, but I've done 1, 2, and 3, and I think 2 is my favorite. I think it's a really good like duos game. I think that's the sweet spot for difficulty and for making your choices matter a little more. So like in solo play, like it's a good game solo. Like, I don't have an issue with it solo, but it's just not my preferred play style. But with the trios, like I really like playing with 3 as well, but you can kind of fill whatever weaknesses one or other person might have in their deck with that third person, especially if they're a new player. You can just kind of like, okay, you do whatever you want and whatever sounds cool, do the thing, and then, you know, build your deck out and whatever, play whatever. But like when you're playing with 2 people, you really have to focus more on the efficiency side of things, but not so much like when you're solo. Like if you make a bad decision on a solo, I feel like your game can kind of cascade out of control. Again, though, I don't play very quote unquote hard. You know what I mean? Like I don't like make sure I'm getting these bonker combos in my deck and stuff. I'm like, oh, this card sounds cool. Oh, I want it to work this way, so I'm going to build it like this to see if that works. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, well, let's try something different next time. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you play on expert, normal, heroic?
I usually play normal, just the and with the first 2 sides of the villains, and it's just simply because of a time constraint. Like, I don't really have more than a couple hours, so I prefer personally to get more games in than beating my head against the wall on expert mode in where your decisions, again, like, it's kind of like that, like I said earlier, like the decisions have to be a little bit more important when you're playing at those higher difficulty levels. Not that I don't like them, but like, I love watching like streams and stuff of like the Team Covenant guys when they play on the heroics and the experts and stuff, because that's just a part of the game that I'm probably not going to get into really, and not because I don't have a desire to. Like, I'm interested in that content. It's just I'm trying to touch all the content. That sounds terrible, but you know, just trying to get a feel for everything more so than the, you know, get like, oh, let me you know, I beat Rhino 10 times, so now let's try expert Rhino, and I'd rather play Rhino a few times, play Taskmaster a few times, play Kang a few times, this and that, like that kind of stuff. And
yeah, you got to fondle them all.
Yes, exactly. They all need fondling, and let's just say I came with a gallon of lotion. Just saying.
That's tender.
This is going well.
Yeah, this is going great.
Off the rails already.
Yeah.
It's very smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we're caressing this well so far. So, yeah. I was going to ask who your favorite hero to play is so far.
Yeah, without question, for me, it's Captain America. Like, I'm a big Captain America fan anyways. When he was announced, I was like, I want the playmat, I want all the cards, and I want Captain America to be the only hero. I played Captain America exclusively for a long time, and he's one of my favorites. I wouldn't say I have like this really great Captain America deck per se. I don't know what the name of the website is where all the decks are. I've got it saved on my phone as like a bookmark, but I don't go and copy too many decks from there or anything like that. I kind of just look at the cards, make my own thing, and go from there. Not to say that that's a bad thing. Like, you know, people want to put decks up there, and you know, you do the thing. I will take some of those decks and use them at some point. But usually, the way my buddy and I play with pretty much just one friend most of the time. And shout out to Matt. And we kind of just, whenever we get a new pack, we'll play the pre-constructed pack. We'll start with that every time. We're just like, we'll play it as it comes, and then after we get more of a feel for the character and everything, we'll start building our own decks. And Captain America was the first hero that I played with where I was like, all right, I really want to dive into building a Captain America deck. And since he's Captain America, playing him with leadership is what I played 90% of my games with Captain America. So I just love Cap, and I played on Saturday night or Friday night, and we played Taskmaster, and my buddy was Quicksilver, I was Cap, and the goal was like, it was like an ally heavy deck, you know, just get as many allies out as possible and just do all that fun stuff. So it ended up working out pretty good. I had this one hand where I can't remember the name of the card. I wish I had it in front of me, but there's one where it allows you to, it's a preparation card, a leadership preparation card, and when an ally dies, they can come back in with one health, one damage marker on them.
Yeah, rapid.
You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, rapid response.
Yes. So every time an ally would die, like at one point I had Maria Hill in the deck, and you know, every time she comes in, you get to draw a card, or everybody gets to draw a card. So I kept basically killing her and then bringing her back with rapid response, and it's just got this insane draw combo. I think I had like 15 cards in my hand at one point. So
Maria Hill rapid response seems pretty good.
Yeah, it was fun. But Cap's my favorite. I wouldn't say that there's a hero I don't like. Like, I think that some are harder to use than others. Hulk. But there's not one that I don't like. I enjoy playing Hulk, but I understand what the limitations of playing him are. You know what I mean?
Yep. Makes sense.
Yeah. What about for since I'm new here? What about for you, Banana? What is your favorite hero?
For a long time, it was Thor. I loved smashing things with Thor.
Whoa. For a long time, it was Thor. What happened while I was traversing the multiverse?
What happened is Ant-Man came out and Quicksilver has come out. So I think right now it's probably Quicksilver.
What is it that makes you like Quicksilver so much?
He's ridiculous. You can build any deck, any style of deck you can build. He's just fun to play. That's really it. Like, the biggest thing for me is fun factor. Like, I want to have fun playing the hero, and Quicksilver is just a lot of fun to play. Like I built that OTK deck where it's kind of like inevitable, like it's gonna go off and the villain's gonna die in one turn. But like, I played that maybe 5-7 times, and then I was like, I'm gonna shelf this, and I've just been playing other Quicksilver decks since, and everything's fun. Like, the OTK deck is like cute, but I don't know. I don't want to play it all the time. But all the other Quicksilver decks are just fun. I'm just having fun with it. So.
Nah, yeah, I've had nothing but fun with Quicksilver since I've only gotten 3 games in with him, and I've only played him as pre-constructed Quicksilver, but I'm about to start really getting into the weeds with building decks for him because I really enjoy his playability. It's very fun. And the thing that I think is really great about Quicksilver is that you're never not able to do something.
Yep.
And there's definitely heroes in the game that it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to do something because I have to defend here or I have to do this or that. But like with Quicksilver, it's like you're always capable of doing something. And I just really like that aspect. What about you, Tommy?
I mix it up. I mean, Doctor Strange has been my favorite since he came out, but I really like Spider-Woman, and I really like Quicksilver.
Yes, I love Spider-Woman.
Panther. Black Panther's one of he was like my original, like, just played the crap out of Black Panther, you know.
Oh, nice.
Most of the heroes I like, I think you can play in just about any aspect. Like, I think Strange is fine. You can play him just all neutral cards, and he's gonna probably win you a game. Black Panther plays great.
40 blank cards. Like,
yeah, you could. It could just be resources, and he could win games. And then Black Panther, I think he plays great out of all the aspects. Spider-Woman's great for me because I like deck building and experimenting, and she opens that up in new ways. And Quicksilver, again, plays great in all the aspects, like you guys highlighted. I think he's just really powerful, and there's a lot you can do there. I know that Banana, the Yarnborn thing that you mentioned, I love that. Yarnborn with the friction card, oh my gosh.
Yeah, because it's a free 2 damage. And
it's 2 damage, but the fact that you can split it, because like now you're attacking or thwarting, and then you're like, all right, and then 2 damage to that minion. It just lets you divide things up in a way that opens up options where you can split damage between minions, or boss and minion, or even thwart and minion damage.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. It's funny that you say Black Panther is one of your favorites because my buddy and I have tried Black Panther a few times, and we aren't huge Black Panther fans. Not that, like, I've used him, we've won a couple of games with him, but it just is like, for us, it's been like more scenario dependent as to whether or not we're gonna how it's gonna go, and then trying to make sure we get the Wakanda Forever to hit at the right time and everything can at times feel a little bit tough, but he's one that I want to go back to in the course that he's probably my least played character.
Yeah, he's one that's a little touchier to get used to, but I think that he's one that when you figure out how you want to play him, and I mean it depends on how you're building, what aspect you're playing, what the encounter is, and everything. I build very specific, like when I build decks. Like quite often the people I play with, we like to push the limits and try to do like, you know, difficult, expert to mod combinations and or even heroic. And when we build decks, we're building side by side. Like I'm building a deck and my buddy Scott's building a deck, and they're not separate decks. They're decks designed to, what are we doing? You know, how are we working together? Can you include this card for me? Will you include that card for my guy? And so on and so forth. So we're trying, like, cool. It's very we don't usually just pick up a deck and go. I mean, we do. Like, I even make my parents play, my brother. So, my wife occasionally, and that's when it's more just like fun, like party game style. And then when Scott or John come over, we play. I'm telling you, the Spider-Woman deck that we built, Banana. I know you don't think it's fun, but we can't lose when we put that deck on the table. It doesn't seem to matter what we're doing.
I know it's good. It's good.
Disgusting.
It's my comments about it are more to troll than anything. Because I know it's good. I'm not an idiot. I know it's good, but
I'm just shocked at how I didn't think that there was a Spider-Woman deck that could do that, but that deck's crazy.
All right, so I'm gonna need access to this deck.
Yes,
I'm gonna need. Can you show me your deck? I need you to show me your deck.
All right, listen, I'm up for fondling if that's where we're going. But
do you want to break it down for him real quick, just so he has?
Sure. So basically, a lot of Spider-Woman decks, I think, get lost in the sauce, and really you got to keep it on the North Star. The North Star is not that Spider-Woman's ability is amazing. The real special part about Spider-Woman is the fact that you can include two different aspects in her deck, and
100%.
And literally right behind that, and maybe even on par with that, maybe even better than that, is the fact that Captain Marvel is her ally. That ally is so freaking busted. It's insane. So I built a deck that was just going to keep Captain Marvel on the table and make her basically unstoppable. She's going to be the hero of the deck. So it's protection, leadership. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick, because the idea of the deck is you just and green is not a popular thing you see a whole lot in strong decks right now.
I'm getting sick just thinking about having protection cards in my deck. I'm getting sick just thinking about it.
Yeah, that's not uncommon. Here it is right here. Spider-Woman. All right, so it's running 13 protection, 13 leadership. You can't run any gray because your leadership spots are so pivotal. And you also have to make sure that none of the allies you're running in the deck are Avengers outside of Captain Marvel, because you're going to run a Call for Aid to kind of act as a second Captain Marvel in the deck. That's the card that lets you discard cards from the top of your deck to hit an Avenger. So you're running 1 Call for Aid, 3 Get Ready, 3 Inspiring Presence, obviously the 2 Pheromones from her kit, 1 Inspired, 1 Power Gloves, 1 Reinforced Suit, and 1 Sky Cycle. So you want to get all 4 of those upgrades.
Yeah.
On Captain Marvel, you have 6 cards that can ready her, the Call for Aid that finds her. And then for your protection cards, you're just running a couple allies to block, like a Clea or a Black Widow or whoever you want to plug in. Probably now you want to plug in, is it Miles Morales? What's the one that lets you draw the card, the neutral?
Ironheart.
Ironheart.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably, because she's just a champion. So you plug her in. You got the containment immunity or contaminant immunity from her kit. I run 2 Power of Protections, mostly because you really just want to. You can play the contaminant immunity with it. You can play the allies with it, and then I'm running 3 med teams, which I'm using almost exclusively to heal Captain Marvel to keep her on the table for the whole game. And then I run Indomitable just because sometimes you get Spider-Woman stats up, and it's just nice to have a free block. It's also a card that you can get out of your deck, so you can get back to the readies. Like, you could stick it on the table to thin. And that's pretty much the whole deck. Oh, you are running Energy, Genius, and Strength as well.
Right.
But I think it's posted in the Discord here.
Cool.
Under the Spider-Woman section if you want it. And it probably needs some updating after the new protection cards came out, but I wouldn't change any of the leadership cards if I was being honest.
Cool.
It's insane. I mean, we're seeing turns where what happens is you end up activating Captain Marvel. I mean, if you get the Sky Cycle on her, she's activating twice. She's got a 3/3 stat line. The Power Gloves are pinging something else. That's happening twice. So that's effectively a value of 4 damage. So let's just say 8. You're drawing 2 cards. Then let's say you have 1 or 2 readies in your hand. You've drawn 4 cards that turn, and you've done effectively 12 points of whatever you want to wherever you want. It's divided up very fluidly. Now that you've seen 4 extra cards in your hand, you've gone through 9 presumably in your deck. You know you've buffed Spider-Woman's stats by at least 1 that turn for playing a leadership card. You're probably going to play at least 1 other aspect card, whether it's a green, a yellow, or a red. So she's probably going to be a 3/3. You might even get a ready for her. So then it's funny because like you by accident, by building the Captain Marvel version of the deck, you wind up unlocking more potential for Spider-Woman because you're seeing enough cards to actually buff her stats, and then she kind of activates on the back end of the turn. So it's a really weird build, but it's like it's just a powerhouse. Like we bring it to games, and it just murders expert. It murders heroic games. It's just insane.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna try that out. I'm gonna not tell my buddy that I figured this out. That I read this. I'm like, yeah, I just threw this together and see what happens, and see how he reacts to it because he'll get a kick out of it. He'll get a good kick out of it. Yeah.
You have to let me know what you think.
Definitely, yeah.
Some people think I'm crazy, so.
Look, I like Spider-Woman a lot. Like she was probably my main character for a while when when that box first came out. Like I was playing her all the time, just doing a bunch of janky stuff, like putting everything together that I possibly could, and it's been fun. Like she's another one of those characters that's just fun. And I mean, it's like I said, Cap's my favorite character, and Doctor Strange is up there, but Spider-Woman's not far behind from that like top shelf characters for me. You know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Something I want to ask both your guys' opinions on, because we haven't really talked about it yet, is what are your guys' thoughts on Wasp?
Tommy, you can take this one first.
I actually haven't put her on the table yet. So I've played with her, but not as her. I think she's good. I think she's fine. I don't think she's like breaking my top tier. I think she's like a B-ish tier hero in my book, maybe. I don't know. I haven't spent a lot of time with her. I haven't theory crafted with her a lot. A lot of my mental power has gone into a Crisis Protocol lately. So yeah, it has been worth it. Very much enjoying that. So I haven't given her probably the thought that she deserves, but that said, it wasn't a character that really intrigued me like a Quicksilver when I read her. So I've kind of looked past her, sadly. But not every hero is going to speak to you either. So
yeah, I'm with you in that she wasn't a character that was particularly intriguing for me off the rip, you know what I mean? Like, and not because I don't have I like the character of Wasp fine, but it's not really something that I would be naturally drawn to, right? But I am also the kind of person that when I'm really, really into something, I buy all the stuff. So Champions is a game where I'm deep, I'm in it. Every pack that comes out, I will own because it always is a fun new way to play the game. And Wasp, it was I think a very fun character in a lot of ways. I really enjoy the flipping between the small form or the tiny form and the giant form and all that stuff. I think that's really fun, and her damage can ramp up really nicely, and I like that as well. And also another aspect that I like is the ability to just like what is it? She puts out the damage as she sees, right? When she's in giant form, like she can put it out, like
split it.
Yeah, splitting the damage. Like I think that's really cool. And Tommy was talking about his Spider-Woman deck and how with that Captain Marvel ally, you do 4 damage over here, you do some damage over there, and mixing it around instead of all one big swing. Well, I like that you can do that with Wasp without kind of having to worry about making sure like your sequence is right. You know what I mean? So I think she's a fun character, and I've only gotten a couple of games in with her, and one of them was, not good because by my own doing. But at the same time, it's a character that I want to explore more. And my buddy Matt is really, really into Ant-Man right now, and I think that we're going to try some more Ant-Man and Wasp combos just because I feel like that's just a fun way to play the game. Ask you guys this: so rules interaction, and he's Wasp. Does the team up card work, or does it have to be with the ally?
Say that again. Hello. You
know what I'm talking about?
Can you say that again? I couldn't.
Yeah,
I didn't hear what you said.
that would work.
Did you lose me?
He's asking about the Ant-Man and Wasp ally interaction with the team up card.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hey, can you hear me?
Hello, gentlemen?
Yeah, I think we lost him, Banana.
Yeah, we hear you. Let me
Can't hear you,
him.
fellas.
Yeah, message him. Probably his headphones.
So this is the side scheme, talking about rules interactions.
Yes.
Oh, well, I can't hear you guys again.
Weird.
Weird.
So Tommy, you didn't play Wasp at all.
No, I have not had Wasp on the table. We got you back, Will?
Yep, I don't know what happened there. That was weird.
All right. So what was your question one more time, just so I understand?
So if you've got Wasp and Ant-Man, you're playing as those heroes, you know, their team-up card.
Yeah.
Does that activate when it's the heroes and not when it's an ally situation?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Good. I didn't mess it up.
Yeah, so you can use it solo with the ally and play or multiplayer. And even like if you're playing leadership, if you're playing as Wasp and you have the other Ant-Man, or if you're playing as Ant-Man and have like the Wasp like aggression ally and play, like that all counts too.
Great. That's what I thought. I'm glad it worked that way.
Yeah. Tommy, do you have anything else on champions for Mr. Will? I got one more.
Yeah, I got one more too. Pack or whatever set, hero, villain encounter, whatever thing that's been previewed. You can't say the Guardians box, but of things that are previewed upcoming. Between, I guess, let's limit it to. We got Wanda, we got Rocket, Groot. We saw a couple of the villain encounters from the Guardians box hinted at, and Star-Lord. Of those listed, what would be the thing you're looking forward to most?
Honestly, it's probably Star-Lord. I just that character is just fun, and the cards that were previewed seemed really interesting. It is probably like the best way I could. It's just interesting, and I feel like that they're exploring some new stuff in the design space with the Guardians characters in general, but specifically, I think Star-Lord's going to bring something kind of fun to the game and have a new experience in the game. So he's probably my number one, and I also like these team-up cards they're doing now, because so many times throughout the Marvel Universe, we've had cards that team up, and I like that Quicksilver's got a team-up card. You can expect that Wanda's going to have the same card, and then with the Guardians, I can only imagine that, much like Crisis Protocol has Deadly Duo for Rocket and Groot, I would expect that Champions is going to have a similar mechanic for them. So
yeah, I want to see him go backwards with the team-up cards. Like, I want to see the like they have in Crisis Protocol with the Captain America, Iron Man, Refraction Blast or Ricochet Blast. Yeah, I want to see a team-up card for those two. Like,
yes,
I'd love to see them go back and do things like that. And then, when you get Wolverine and Colossus, you get like a fastball special, and I just want to see all of that in the game at some point.
Yeah, and I think that they're not limited to just because you're getting a Rocket and Groot character that we have to put the team-up card for those characters. I mean, yeah, if you're going to put a team-up card for those characters, put it in their box. But also, like you said, going back, I mean, why wouldn't you throw in some extra cards like that in the game? I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be a chance that you need a count. Like I know that the Strange Pack, because it had the Invocation deck, had a weird card count where they wound up including the Iron Man ally out of affiliation because the Strange Pack came with protection, so like they needed a one-off to slip in there. So like you might get a situation where, because it's a limit one per deck, even though you could technically use two if you had two different heroes representing them. But you could do something like that where you slip it in there, or you could slip two of them in one, and then the third card could be a unique card of a sort to remedy that.
I think that'd be really cool, and there's so much design space for them to explore, and there's so much more of the Marvel Universe to explore, and just like with Crisis Protocol, there's so much. Like, we already have so much, but it's the tiniest drop in the bucket of what's possible.
It's true.
And it just excites the shit out of me. And if either of these games announce Fantastic Four at any point, I probably will keel over with excitement.
Reset the clock.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I need.
Watching WandaVision?
I am. I just finished the most recent episode. That show's so well done.
It is. Banana, are you watching it?
Yeah, I'm caught up.
It's funny, and I don't want to we don't have to do spoilers or anything like that. I just think it's funny that like this show is taking like the world by storm. I don't know how much of it has to do with the fact that we've been starved of cinematic universe content for so long, but it's like everything they've done has been so action based, and now we have this extremely like quirky, funny, like thoughtful, twisty, weird, mind bending show that has people raving, and I'm soaking up every second of it myself. Even from the first episode, I thought it was hilarious and just well done, and they put just the right amount of like nuanced, not just Easter eggs, but like hints at what was actually happening in there. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I think they're crushing it, and it's something that. So, I was on the fence about what these Disney Plus shows are gonna be like, right, when they first got announced, and I was definitely on the fence about like the Falcon and Winter Soldier show, and this just gives me so much more hope for the future of their episodic content. I'm ready. I'm super ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, my body's ready. Let's loop it up and get going.
Get the fondle coming on here.
There it goes.
The Marvel caress. That's what I'm ready for.
The Marvel caress. I like it.
You could be my fondler in crime. Just not letting that go. I don't know.
That sounds like consent to me.
I was going to ask what your favorite villain to play against is, but
well, it's myself apparently with these wombo combos I'm doing over here. My favorite villain in so far has been the mutagen formula Green Goblin. Like it was really hard and like really fun. All the Green Goblin pack is probably so far what I've gotten like the most value out of as a villain, because he's got the two different forms of his, like, he's got the mutagen formula thing. I might be calling it the wrong thing. I think, is the mutagen formula a modular set? Is that right?
No, that's the second villain.
Okay, yeah.
In there.
And then Risky Business is the other one.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, and both of those were so difficult for us. It took us so long to beat them, but it was really like every time we played it, we learned something new about the game. We learned new stuff, and it was fun. It was so much fun. And so like he's my number one. I haven't played Kang yet, but I know I've heard you talk about that Kang's really great, and I'm really excited to play him. But like I said, we're kind of working our way through releases right now, and we don't skip ahead with whatever's released. So I have the Kang pack, but we're waiting until we beat through the Red Skull box to play Kang. And that's one thing that I think that they've done really well with this game also, is that I don't feel like I'm at a loss for content, even though like I might be losing against these villains for a while. They haven't thrown out so many villains to the point, for me, again, like my limited amount of playing that I get to do, I don't feel like I'm so far behind on stuff. So I really love that. But the villain that was the hardest for us, and the one that like we hated, was Ultron. We hated Ultron. Just the whole taking cards out of your deck thing just sucked.
You're Captain America, and then the shield is your drone, right? That's
exactly. That is. It happened, and it was not good. I did. Yeah. Oh man. So I was playing Captain America the other night because we were having a hard time with Taskmaster. And So we were like, all right, well, let's get our favorites out. And he picked his Thor, and I picked Captain America. And I had something that made me get rid of an upgrade card, and the only upgrade card I had was the shield. And playing Captain America without the shield just felt so weird. It just was weird.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it turns off like shield toss and shield block, so there's like five dead cards, and then you lose the retaliate, which I always like.
And the defense.
And the defense, yeah. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It sucked. So, word to the listeners out there: don't let Captain America's shield go bye-bye. Let me tell you, because then I had to shuffle my deck again, and it was on the bottom.
Oof.
Yeah, it was brutal. We lost that one, needless to say. But then we came back and we whooped up on old Tasky pretty good. Anthony Masters didn't stand a chance.
That's good.
So, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was to say, so I know you guys have been getting into Crisis Protocol a little bit, and unless y'all had anything else for Champions, I would love to get you guys' thoughts on Crisis Protocol a little bit too.
Sure.
You sound so excited.
The enthusiasm.
Well, I mean, I've been around. I played the game since it came out. Tommy's newer,
right.
So I don't know if you want to get Tommy's newer, more excited take.
Well, Tommy, yeah, let's hear. What do you love about MCP so much? Why are you so smitten with it?
Well, you can be Thanos, which is something.
Amazing.
Yeah, something to be said. So I'm like my friend Scott, who he's like my heterosexual life mate at this point.
I get it.
He bought me the Thanos model because he basically came to the conclusion, and it was the right conclusion, that we love miniatures games, we love the hobby, we love everything about it, and we love Marvel. Why aren't we playing this game? And so he just bought me the Thanos on, I think, for Christmas, and he was just like, we're going to play this. And I was like, you're right, we are going to play this now. And I bought I just bought the Black Order,
mm-hmm.
and that's enough to play like an actual, not like a competitive list per se, because I don't have the crisis cards or the tactic cards really needed, but I can field 10 at least. So I wound up picking up Nebula and Gamora just because Nebula felt like on brand, at least for me, from a thematic standpoint, and it filled that 2-point role.
Yep.
Plus, I kind of and MedPack, which has been wonderful. But I've been playing like a kill list primarily, so Nebula kind of made sense with that too, because she's a 2-pointer, but she can swing pretty hard, like maybe a little outside of her point cost. But it's been good. I've played 7 games. I've benefited from having pretty hot dice, and also
feels good.
Yeah, it's I've benefited from that quite a bit lately, but also the fact that I think the small little group that we have of basically 3 and sometimes a 4th person that'll jump in for games. I think we're all kind of learning the objective game, where everybody kind of like wants to run to the middle and try to kill me, but they have like pieces that really should be playing a little more objective based games. And I'm built to kill. Like I'm running Corvus and Proxima and Thanos with a Time Stone and a Reality Gem sometimes, and it's like, I'm fine meeting in the middle and swinging.
Right, yeah. Gamma Shelters is your bread and butter.
Yeah, I wish I had Gamma Shelters.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I need that. I've done some research, so I definitely want that. I think I want to get the wordy one.
The hammers is great.
Yeah, just especially if I'm running the time gem on Thanos with the 3 attacks, just getting the extra dice is beautiful. But that's been my experience so far. I love I bought the Cosmic Showdown mat. I bought the Cosmic Terrain. Like we've been playing at my house, so we're kitted out pretty nice. And then I have friends that have bought probably 70% of the models. Like I think John owns almost everything at this point.
Nice.
So we've got a lot of people that are excited in our little group here. My brother bought in yesterday.
Nice.
Oh, did he buy the core set?
No, the guy John, who bought just about everything, he's not really into the villains or the Cabal at all. And I was like, my brother wants to play. Why don't you just see if he wants to pick that up on the cheap? So he just gave him basically everything in the core set outside of the terrain and the hero stuff.
Yeah.
Because somehow he had 2 copies of all the cards and everything for like $30. So my brother is now in, and we got him a MODOK too. We got that on like 50% off. So, and that seemed like a good one to get him.
Yeah, well, I mean, now he's clearly the favorite in your group.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hearing. He's also a old War Machine player, and he and my friend Scott that I play with have both made like the Masters levels event. So they're both very accomplished miniature games players.
Nice.
So I have my work cut out for me now.
Yeah, and he's got a MODOK, so you're screwed.
Yeah, and before that, Magneto was what was haunting my dreams. But now I'm looking forward to MODOK once I was able to finally kill Magneto.
Yeah, it feels good to kill Magneto because every time you do that little bit of damage, he just gets more power, and then you can't do anything to him because he gets all that the defense dice.
Yeah, he's a force. The first time I played Magneto, I was like, I was not prepared for the level of pain that he just pulled on me here.
Oh yeah. I ran my spider people right up to him and started trying to swing one day, and I was like, this is just bad.
Yeah.
What am I doing with my life?
I have not played against the spider people, not spider foes. What are
Web
the
Warriors.
spider? The Web Warriors. Yes, I have not played Web Warriors yet. I haven't played into like a Wakanda list yet.
Ooh, get
ready.
You're gonna have a treat there.
Yeah, I know. I've got a lot of learning to do. But even like the way we're playing right now, I'm sure we're not playing like when I say I've played against Magneto, I've played against our version of stuff in our.
Sure,
I'm sure it's not like a meta version of anything.
That's what's fun about Crisis Protocol for me, and this is just one man's opinion here. I've been in this game since day one, and the meta, there's nothing that is really just inviolable save for maybe Ebony Maw. Like Ebony Maw, you can still play and have a good time. I'm not trying. He's there. He can do things at times, but he's probably the only one that you're not going to like see a lot.
Yeah, but he feels bad at 5. I don't know. I like Black Dwarf a lot, though. I think he's just overshadowed by Corvus, but I think Black Dwarf is like, I look at him, I'm like, wow, 4 points. He's got a great throw. Like he's not, his attacks are good. You get stagger. Like,
yep.
I don't know. He feels decent to me.
Yeah, I love Black Dwarf a lot. I think he's seeing a lot of play right now, especially with like X-Men and stuff, and with Storm's leadership ability to, she has the ability to allow a character to place within range 1 of, and with him in that big base, and he does all the damage and everything. So, yeah, he's really coming into his own, I think, with some of these other releases. But all that to say that aside from MODOK being good, which is, you'll hear everyone say, like, yes, MODOK is really good, but he's not so good that he can't be dealt with. And it's the thing I'm getting at with I like so much about this game is there's nothing that is like the thing. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing that you're like, if you don't have this model or this card, you are going to lose. Period. Yeah. There's none of that.
There's no boogeyman out there.
Which is really impressive with like 70 playable characters.
And the rate like they release them at, because they churn that stuff out over there at Atomic Mass Games. Yeah.
It's so impressive to me. And they just got the Inhumans out, so we've got a whole new affiliation to play with now, and it's not stopping anytime soon.
Well, you got X-Force soon.
Yeah. I'm really, really curious what they're going to do with Cable, because Cable is the one that quote-unquote broke drop-off to where they had to ban it.
Yeah, that's scary. I heard that. That scares me a little bit.
Yeah, so what is this guy going to do? It's so bad. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because Angela can drop She-Hulk. Like,
right.
After in a post drop off ban world, because now they have their own. So like, what could be worse than a dropped off She-Hulk that can basically be anywhere?
Exactly.
That's horrifying.
Horrifying and awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, as if you're the one dropping Cable or the one playing Cable, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm definitely gonna like run drop off with Cable just to see how impressive it is.
Why would
like, hey guys, try something real quick. and that's what you should do, Tommy. Don't tell anybody that drop off is banned, and then
they know.
Comes out. Oh well, there. Well, darn it.
They're
well, that's where you screwed up. That was mistake number one.
Yeah.
There you go. You just had to show them where the errata was. Way to go.
I know.
So, Banana, I know you said you've been into it since day one. What do you love about MCP so much that's kept you this into it and listening to my BS on a weekly basis?
Number one, the game is a lot of fun to play. Number two, it's Marvel. Number three, you can throw shit at other people. Like just that terrain interaction was like kind of, I don't want to say mind blowing, but it was like really awesome to me. Like I remember seeing it like at PAX and stuff before it came out, and seeing like the Green Goblin sculpt like in the case, and like that Green Goblin sculpt like blew my mind, like how awesome that looked, you know.
I'm
and
getting
then
turned on over here.
And like that sculpt was just awesome. That was my favorite sculpt. Now I think I like the Cable one like the best. Like that sculpt to him looks so awesome. But
well, you're wrong, because Thanos is the best sculpt.
But I mean, it's just a lot of fun. It's Marvel. The gameplay is streamlined. It's smooth. It makes sense. And yeah, I like throwing stuff and being able to throw people around. I just enjoy the game. I think it is a really good like tabletop representation of like a Marvel fight, you know, like in the comic books.
Absolutely.
Like this stuff makes sense. Like the Hulk throwing someone, you know, like that'll happen, you know. It's just
absolutely.
I think they've done a really good job translating the comics to the tabletop.
It's not just like
miniatures way.
As someone that played other games, other miniature games, I can like the throws are like extremely thematic and fun and add like a great element to the game. But like the system for throwing stuff is so much cleaner in this game.
Oh my god, I know.
It's so good comparatively speaking. It feels intuitive, it makes sense, it's practical, it's not abstract in any way. It just, you pick this up and you throw it. Where does it come from? Well, it comes from the guy throwing it. All right, I'm throwing you. Well, then it's coming. You're the piece that we measure from. Like, it just all makes sense. I just love it.
Yeah, and that is exactly what I was going to say. Is you're mentioning the throw. Like, the other company that made the Marvel game, that shall remain nameless, they had a throwing mechanic in that game. I have their DC game, and it's fun, but it doesn't compare for like just the cleanness of it. It's so clean. With the only complication is, are you throwing terrain or are you throwing a character? Okay, well that determines how you measure where that throw goes. But it's so clean. I love it, and I like how I can teach someone who's never played a miniatures game in their life how to play Marvel Crisis Protocol in an hour. I love it. I love it. Who's your favorite character, Banana?
Moon Knight.
Yeah, it's Moon Knight. He's not even out yet, but yeah. Moon Knight's my favorite Marvel character.
It's
already. In the game, Gwen? I don't know. I've been big into Web Warriors, and she's really good. But I think I'm going to try to switch to Inhumans now that they're out and give that a really good go. I just think like I want to Gamma Launch Lockjaw and then use him to teleport, like something ridiculous.
Do it. I can't wait to see how that works out.
So, like Black Dwarf, like Gamma Launch Lockjaw and teleport Black Dwarf. Can I make that happen? I want to see.
That'd be interesting, because if you Gamma Launch, I'm trying to think of like the distance on that. If you Gamma Launch,
figure it out.
Yeah, that's you could get him all the way, get Black Dwarf pretty far up there without having done anything. Whew, that's scary.
Then you can mothership him back if you play out of Black Order.
I like this guy's thinking.
Yeah.
Nah, Black Dwarf doesn't want to run. He's just going to stay right there and take it. You can cut off his hand. He's going to keep coming back.
Yeah, he kind of wants to be injured if you're running Thanos, so I like that part about it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and Tommy, we know your favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm a Thanos man.
Grimace is your favorite. Yeah,
yes, I love Grimace. You can call him that. It's okay. It's all right, Star-Lord. But I'm entrenched on Black Order. I'm not, like, there's no other game that I thought that I would ever be able to play those characters in. So I'm I'm just going to play the crap out of them. I'm going to make them I'm going to know that team and my list in and out, and I'm going to be able to play it at hopefully a higher level than people will anticipate. And I don't plan on like being competitive or anything, but I'm going to give people one hell of a run with Black Order.
Do it. Yeah, they terrify me.
Yeah, I mean,
as a Web Warriors player.
They were in the finals of the TTS League last season, so I mean...
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
They're not...
All right.
I mean, there's good players
so
out there.
It's possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I was playing a lot of Web Warriors, and now I was messing with Guardians a little bit lately, but I think I'm going to give Inhumans a real go here.
Yeah, I'm probably going to mainline X-Men and X-Force once Cable and Deadpool drop, but we'll see. I mean, I play with everything. I touch it all, as they say.
You gotta...
See, I said I was entrenched, but they showed that Sinister sneak peek.
He looks awesome.
And the X-Men villains are what's going to get me.
Do it. Just get in there. I mean, I'm sure Sinister will make a great addition to the Black Order. I don't know why. I'm sure he will.
Well, I'm already trying to convince... I'm probably going to get an Enchantress and try to mod her to just look like Mistress Death.
Nice.
Just so she fits my theme. But that's probably going to happen at some point, just so that I have a little more game. If I have to... Like, if the crisis dictates that I need to play more of a objective-based scoring game, I can maybe include her. I don't know. That's my thought, at least.
Yeah, and I love how there's still Black Order characters out there from the comics that they could still bring into the game at some point.
Who do you think they could... Like, Thane? Who are you thinking?
Well, yeah, I mean, you could do Thane, Supergiant. You could bring in
Supergiant. Could do Supergiant. Yeah, she's the black sheep of the Black Order.
Yeah, I mean, but she's there. Which, I love the name Supergiant, and it's like, but wait a second. She's tiny. She's like a normal person. Was Black Swan... Right, isn't that another one?
Black Swan is she during the Secret Wars stuff. Leading up to that. Yeah.
So like I still feel like that while most people view that as a quote unquote complete affiliation, there's still room to grow in that affiliation, and I think that could, like, if they bring in Thane, I mean, that could be a whole new leadership, which would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I would be down with that. I mean, we're getting Agent Bob, so Hydra Agent Bob. So who knows? Like, anything's on the table.
Exactly.
What's your favorite Crisis Protocol character? Will?
Oh man, it's sculpt wise, it's Green Goblin, and it's not close. It like the Cable is the closest since GG, but like. Norman Osborn, that sculpt is just insane. My favorite character to play right now is probably Gwen or Strange. Those are my two top characters, and you guys have listened to the show a little bit, but my favorite thing to do right now is to mess with Gwen's ability, her spider technique, where she can move after attacking and then add extra dice to her second attack also. So like using something like climbing gear I'm having a lot of fun with that, or I'm playing like X-Men and Web Warriors combos now, and using Storm's leadership to place Gwen into a position to attack and move, is attack twice and still move again after the attack is really fun. So it's probably Gwen. Gwen's probably my favorite character right now, but I really love them all. Like there's very few characters that I can say like I don't enjoy playing, and I'm kind of trying to get more into the X-Men right now. On the my last game on the TTS League, Season 4 TTS League, I got to put Cyclops on the table for the first time, and he's somewhat underwhelming in a sense, but at the same time, he still had some cool stuff. He still did some cool stuff, and I still like him. And he's another character that I want to get on the table a little more. I know nobody probably says that, but I like characters that move a lot and stuff like that. So that's why I like Web Warriors is great.
Yeah, that's why I lean to him too. I like the movement and the mobility. I mean, it's objective based, so if I can get from one objective to the other, I favor that.
Exactly. And one of the fun things about Web Warriors is, you've got Daredevil in there, and people overlook him so much. And if you get that 5 power and you get to hit 3 people with a doubles deliverance, it feels so good. It feels so good. And especially if you get him on the all webbed up turn, it's
even better.
I can't even.
Yeah.
I can't even. I love it. So, yeah, favorite affiliation right now is Web Warriors, but it's just because I've played them a lot. And, it's one of those things where it's a game that definitely rewards time investment in one kind of thing. So, Tommy, I think, if you just invest heavily into Black Order, you're going to be a titan of it.
Love that. That's music to my ears. My 1.5-year-old, with all the terrible influence I'm giving him, when I show him my Thanos, he'll whisper, he goes, Titan. That's what
exactly.
So
that's awesome.
I'm like, hey, well, at least he could tell what the model is after I painted it, what character. So that's a good thing.
That's a start. That's a start. Mm-hmm. I just keep pushing my gray models around on the table right now, like the shame that I feel for that, but at the same time, I just ain't got time to sit down and paint.
I'm actually fully painted. I only have 6 models, or 5. Yes, 6 models, but I'm fully painted.
Oh, hey, that's nice. That's something. You get extra points for that. I mean, you sit down, and that's an extra victory point right there.
Yeah, no one that I play with is intimidated at all. But
they're like, why does this really look like Grimace? I don't understand. That's awesome.
I'm slowly, them guys getting into the game has lit the fire for me to get caught up on my painting because I was so far behind. So, I'm slowly going through it now.
There's a whole bunch in our Discord of models getting posted in there. People sharing their stuff, which is cool that we have a little subsect of Crisis Protocol in our Discord, people that are passionate.
Yeah, I love it. I've commented on a few of them. They look great.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else on Crisis Protocol?
Man, I could go on.
Yeah. Did you have any other questions for us about Crisis Protocol, or Tommy, any for Will that you had?
I mean, I like he said, I could pick his brain, I'm sure, for hours. But I mean, I'm not actually going to glean anything from it anyway, because my brain's a little melted at this point.
I understand that completely. Yeah, no, only thing I have to say is, if you haven't picked up Marvel Crisis Protocol and you're thinking about doing it, I highly, highly, highly recommend the core set. Like, the obvious thing I will tell anyone that's looking to get into the game, if there is a model you like, a character you like, go get that model first. Like, just go buy that model. You won't be disappointed, right? Like Tommy did. Tommy said, I like Thanos. I'm going to go buy the Black Order and Thanos and have a team ready to go. And then AMG, they sell the dice packs and their measurement tools separately. So there you go. Done and done, right? So you could do that, and that's great. But if you're looking for how to get into the game, probably the best value in miniatures game core sets I've ever seen is really Marvel Crisis Protocol.
I second that.
I third it.
It's unbeatable value.
Take here.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I said I'm caressing the take here.
So. Yeah, caressing the take. I like it. Fondling the take, right, Tommy?
That's fine. Yeah, I'm fondling it. He's caressing it.
There you go. So it's just if anybody's looking to get into it, start with the core set and then go from there, and you won't be disappointed because it's a great game, and we have a lot of content out for it. Like, there's obviously my show, which I obviously think is the best show because it obviously is, but that's neither here nor there. There's so much great content out there for it, and if you're new into the game, if you want to get into that competitive scene, there's content out there for you. If you want to play casually, there's content out there for you. If you want to get more into the lore, there's content out there for you while also being around the game and stuff. And it's all pretty well done too. So yeah, in terms of Crisis Protocol, I encourage people check out that core set and then find find the content that you want to absorb, and yeah, there you go.
The core set
Roll those dice.
The core set is 10 models, right? 5 Avengers, 5 Cabal, and then enough terrain to play a game. It's like sparsely populated terrain, but it's still enough to
10
play
dice,
the game.
6 crisis cards, a bunch of tactics cards, the movement and range templates, a rule book. I mean, there's a lot in there. I actually bought a pieced out core set for $30. I just got the templates, the dice, all the cards.
Nice.
That way I had, enough to get by with what I needed. So
I just spent $30 too.
You spent $30
on everything Verse.
Yeah, I just bought into Versus system. I got like $160 worth of stuff for $30 at my local shop.
Nice.
Yeah, just what I needed. But
you should see my game wall right now. Like, I've got so many games over here, and I'm like, well, I play like 3 of these.
But you have them, just in case.
Exactly. You never know. I mean, look, if my wife ever kicks me out, I will have a place to live because I'll just put my game boxes up next to each other.
Selling all the old stuff to fund the new habits.
That's it, dude. No, I'm a hoarder. I can't sell nothing. That ain't happening.
But yeah, core box, good value. And,
absolutely.
I definitely recommend House Party Protocol for anybody looking.
I second that as well.
Woo!
Go back to the archives.
So some of those early shows are a little rough. So if you do go through the archives, just bear with us. Some of them, there's this thing that we like to do called beating a dead horse.
Yeah, you're talking to people that listen to our show, so you're fine, dude. Don't worry
okay,
about
good.
that.
All right.
All 4 of them. Confirmed.
Hey man,
4
we got
listeners.
6 people to listen. 2 of them right here.
Yeah. It says your mom, right? Nate's mom.
Exactly. Can't say your mom anymore. I think that's one of those ones we just beat into the dirt. So yeah, no, I appreciate it, fellas. I feel like
thank you for coming on, bro. We appreciate you coming over and chatting some champions and hitting us with some Crisis Protocol knowledge.
Yeah, and feel free to hit me up if you guys ever have any questions and anything. Like, if I know the answer, I will definitely get you that answer. And look, I've got my rules lawyer on tap, so good to go.
All right, you got any last words, Tommy? I think we'll wrap this thing up.
No, I'm good. I'm just hoping I don't fall through any more cracks into another multiverse again. Hopefully I can keep this laptop running.
All right. Well, I hope everybody listening enjoyed the Multiverse crossover event with Will from House Party Protocol. I will have his stuff linked in the show notes for everybody. As always, stay scheming, champions.
Are you ever not going to fall for
Fondlers.
That's it. We're done.
Caressers.
Or am I still recording? We'll never know.